Are we on? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights. Cameras.
This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
And I hope you have your calculators out because the permutations are getting crazy. If the Black Stars score against Mozambique, and if the Mozambique players also do not, there's plenty of things that they have to do for us to win. But we are hoping for a good day. And I'm telling you what, if you keep your predictions right, like I did for the Ghana Black Stars against Cape Verde and against Egypt, and how I won. If you're like me, guess what? Plus FM is giving you the chance to win 2,000 Ghana cedis if you keep your predictions up and running on their AFCON Predictor promo. So join us tonight at the viewing center today here. In fact, tonight here at our premises in Abelempe. Just key in 3 Music HQ. You find us and you can join us here at our viewing center and we can watch the games together. However, before second half whistle blows, your predictions shall have been on the page of Plus FM on Facebook, and the more points you earn, the more correct scores you get, you can win 2,000 Ghana cedis. Easy, cool chop. Okay, by all means, tonight's prediction.
We are listening today. Nobody's going to fight you.
It's the easiest prediction you can have. All right. It is the easiest. Anyway, don't let that make you go crazy. Don't let that put any stress on you with regards to the Black Star play, because they themselves have got their own stress. But they find themselves in a certain space where mental health is very important. Now, this morning, we are bringing the conversation from the Black Stars to our creative space. Now, you saw what happened with the man Funny Face, for example. Now, his post on Facebook has gotten a lot of people talking, and it brings to mind the whole narrative around mental health. It's something that we hardly talk about, and we probably downplay. But a lot of persons in the creative industry or creative space need a certain sane level of thinking to be able to think. But many a time, because we find ourselves in a certain pretentious, we're always pretending of like who we are. We are not the people, you go to a filling station, you're buying fuel 50 Ghana cedi that look nice some way. So you want to buy 2,000 just to show off small because you think that you are, you've been invited for a place, you're going to go, you're thinking of what they'll say, what they'll do, that. So you have to think and think and think and think and think. For the girls, you have to look into the mirror like 10 times before you get out from the vehicle. If you are in a taxi, you are using your small distance to watch and dotting the small eye on your nose. For a guy, you are doing all that. You step out, you are smiling by force. Meanwhile, Charlie, right in the bank is not looking good. And your fans are like, Charlie, show, throw money, Charlie, your last dime. But you it's feeding, it's eating of you, and you're trying hard to adapt to a certain life that you are really not that life. All these things add up to the state of mind that you find yourself in at any point in time, and it's of growing concern because it's and the other persons like our very own sister Abnakoko, who's been very open about mental health conversations, and it goes on and on. But she just may be the only person, or one of the many people who have been vocal on this conversation. What about those who have been silent and not talking? This morning, Natalia Andoh, she's a counselor psychologist, right?
Counseling psychologist.
She's in the past, she's in the present continuous. That means she's not done. Yeah, she's a counseling psychologist. Now, this morning she joins us live on the show for us to talk about the creative arts and mental health, or vice versa. Mental health and creative arts, aka Abodam.
No, don't say that.
No, I'm just saying that, insanity. The insanity of our space. Yes. Welcome to the show, Natalia.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Culture Squad's home.
Yes. Thank you. Feels good to be here.
I how do we know if we are okay?
Wow, what a way to start.
Maybe before we even come to that, let's first break it down and understand what mental health in itself stands for, what it represents, what it means.
Right. Okay, so before I answer that, in fact, last week I did a Vox Pop. I spoke to random people asking them what mental health is. And I was so surprised at the responses I got, because I realized that people really don't know much about mental health.
No.
They haven't thought it important enough to learn.
Why are you looking at
about mental health? Seriously. Now, so when we talk about mental health, we're really looking at three things. We're looking at the way a person thinks, the way they behave, the way they feel. Okay? These are the things we're looking at. So we're actually thinking about
the way they think.
Your emotional, how you feel emotionally, socially, and then psychologically as well. Okay. So it encompasses the three things. How you think, how you feel.
Yeah, think, feel,
act.
Okay.
Think, feel, act. And I think this sums up really what mental health is. And somebody has to be in the right space all the time.
In balancing all these three.
They need to be in the right space all the time.
Just because of what you just said, I've seen that a lot of us are not okay.
No, but so here's another thing. Indeed, a lot of us are not okay. Indeed. But you see, it's more how you handle it than what is actually going on with you. Because we all go through it. We all go through it. It's more how you handle it than what you go through. Because the going through, everybody goes through it.
Yes.
It's more how you handle it. That's what differentiates between you and everybody else.
Okay, so basically how you're handling that situation.
Exactly.
What else should we handle it?
There's something called cognitive bias. Usually because when you are thinking of yourself by yourself, you put yourself in a space where sometimes you don't get the things quite right. You know what I mean? When we're thinking about ourselves, the things we do or not do right or whatever, we don't judge ourselves very well the way we should. So what usually happens is you're going to need people who are around you a lot of the time, maybe your family members, maybe your closest people, to help you, first of all, see that something is not right. Everybody has a pattern. Everybody.
Yeah.
It's in you sleep 9 to 5 every day. It is what you do. Okay. Sometimes things may happen. I don't know. Maybe you're grieving. You lost someone, so it will mess with your sleep pattern a little bit. Maybe you're getting married and you're a little anxious, so it will mess with your sleep pattern a little bit. But if you take those ones out, typically in your whole life, if you're 40 years or whatever, you know yourself that typically these are the hours I sleep. The minute nothing crazy is happening in your life, but you find that there's a problem with that sleep pattern, something is wrong.
Mental health has
something is not right. You know, this you may not
it becomes
see
disruptive,
it, but something is definitely wrong. You know that you're a bubbly person, but maybe, I don't know, in the last 6 months you have just coiled back in. You may not see it yourself, but if you talk to people around you, they'll tell you that, I don't know, these days anybody invites you out and you give them all the reasons in the world why you don't want to go. You'd rather be at home. You don't talk to people as much as you want to.
Because I used to be an outward. I used to really go out.
But there's a reason why.
Exactly.
There's a reason why you're holding back. You see, it has to be a good reason. Before, maybe you were not married, you didn't have as much responsibility. It was easy for you to step out and do whatever. But now you're married, you have responsibility. You know that you have to be home for your family, the kids, this and that. So those ones don't count.
Thank you for talking about
last year, Olele was out at almost every function. Last 2 years, Abontin season. This last year, December, he wasn't out.
You see, as long as you can identify the reason why, maybe he's broke. Maybe he doesn't have money.
Or maybe to say it's the economy.
Exactly. Or maybe he's just learning to manage his finances better. So he's chosen that maybe, I don't know, every 3 months I'll go out just once.
And those are valid reasons, right?
Once you have a reason for it, okay, you know that this is my reason, this is the reason why I'm not doing this anymore, then you're fine. But if you can't tell why, if there's no reason in your mind that you can come up with for why these things are happening,
and you start depending
especially those are the worst parts. We'll get to that. Especially when people around you who are familiar with your routine are reaching out. For instance, Olele maybe has friends that will say, Charlie, we'll pay your way if you are broke, come and let's go. And he still insists that I don't want to go. And he will stay back and stay back and stay back for 6 months straight. Something is wrong. You know what I mean? Because it's not normal of him, especially when somebody's paying his way. Like, you can still save your money. But if you insist and say, I'm not going, something is wrong. It is how we identify, first of all, that something is wrong with us. That is like the first step. And it's not the big things. For me, I find that when I started on this journey of mental health, going to school, learning this and that, I realized that people think when we talk mental health, they think it's the big things, the psychosis, the mania, the schizophrenia. No. That's not what we're talking. We're talking the mood swings, the everyday little things.
Louder.
Those are the things that we need to pay attention to.
Louder.
And those are the things that grow. Because another thing is like what you rightly said early on, a lot of people have dependency when it comes to mental health. Even grief. People don't handle grief properly. And it's sad because there's actually help for grief. There's something called grief counseling. If you're going through grief and it's a bit much for you, there are people who are willing to talk to you, let you understand the phase you're in. That's not to say they won't let you grieve. You will grieve just fine, but you do it in a way that it does not harm or stop your growth moving forward. There are people who haven't lived a day after they lost someone. They stopped living that day. They move and go up and down, and they have increased in age, 10 years more, but they haven't lived a day afterwards. And then there are the people who resort to coping mechanisms, which eventually becomes addictions. There's a way to handle coping mechanisms. If you don't get them right, you become addicted to what is helping you cope. And that becomes another whole problem altogether.
When you have to now hold on to something, is that what you're trying to say?
When you can't function properly, when anything stops you from functioning properly, I've had clients, I don't know how to call them, clients, patients, whatever, who can't go a day without doing something. Okay, sometimes even if it means losing their job, they don't mind, because if they're coming here to work, they have to stop somewhere and spend like 3 hours to do something because it's an addiction. And the brain of an addicted person is also another conversation. We'll get to that. It is not the way we think. We know that, again, I say we because I'm not sure how all your minds are working, but I want to suppose that, you don't have any addictions, but we think a person who is okay mentally thinks and reasons like this. Okay, this is my job. This is my livelihood. Nothing gets in the way of that.
Yes.
Yes. I will go and do my job because I don't want to get fired.
Yeah.
An addicted mind doesn't think that way. They think their survival is actually what they're addicted to. And people, I've met people, I've spoken with people who are addicted to, these days the biggest one is gambling. People don't even know it's that bad.
Too sure odds.
People are addicted to gambling.
Are we allowed to mention
Too sure odds.
Without naming anybody. Without naming anybody.
Correct score.
Please don't.
I mean, we're in the season of
Ghana to win. Over 2.5.
So that is what.
How bad is this addiction? This
gambling?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! So I interned at a rehab facility, and I can tell you with confidence that in the space that I was there, about 80% of all the people who came in had a gambling addiction.
Wow.
Yes.
Is this good or bad? I mean,
it's terrible. So any form of addiction is terrible. Okay, and clearly, I mean, for these people who had to come to rehabilitation, you know the point you have to get to come to rehab?
To go to rehab.
Do you understand what that means?
Right?
You're at a point where I met people who had spent literally everything, had gone to steal their mother's property, documentary and stuff, sold things without people knowing, spending their children's school fees. Like, that level is insane. And they themselves realize that, where I'm at right now, I'm at the edge. If I topple over, there'll be no turning back for me. And it's that bad. And gambling starts as also a coping mechanism for a lot of people, So
gambling, it's more like betting.
Oh, there's so many forms of gambling. So many forms. All of that falls under gambling. And there are people who go heavy. There are people who go and sit at casinos, I don't want to mention names, and spend, I don't know, somebody will travel and come back with £10,000 and lose it in one night at a casino.
Still want to find another.
And tomorrow he'll come to see and say, see, Charlie, give me some 5K tomorrow, I'll sort you. And lose it in one night.
For my liver.
And they don't, there's no end in sight for people who are addicted to anything at all. And it's anything. It's sex addiction, there's alcohol addiction, there's people who do hard drugs, prescription medication is also another one that people don't even know, but it's crazy out there, you know.
For a professional, what do you say the line is between the dysfunctional addicts and the high-functioning addicts, the people who still are hooked on it, but amongst us and smiling? And maybe even sitting on radio doing
like
you.
Show. So
I'm just do you get it?
So I do get it. Yeah. So there's no such thing as a high functioning addict. Okay. They will balance it out well for now. It's just that they haven't reached that level where they will become dysfunctional. So really it is where you're at. Maybe for somebody who thinks they are a high-functioning addict, maybe they are at a level 2. So yeah, can function properly. They know they are doing bad things, but they can manage and go to work.
It's not manifesting in dysfunction.
It's not exactly. But the thing about addiction is that, how do I give you an example that will stay with you? So let's use alcohol. When somebody is depending on alcohol to solve a certain problem, there's always an underlying, there's always a root cause. There's always a root cause. There's a reason why people try to cope by using something, and the thing eventually becomes an addiction. So let's say, I don't know, Olele's wife is a nagging wife, okay? And every time he gets home, you know, she's at it for whatever reason. He's trying, Charlie, he's doing the best he can, but every time the woman is at his neck, and he decides that, you know what, now I'll just stay at work. I'll come to work at 5 a.m. and leave at midnight. You know what I mean? And so let's say he leaves this space around 7 p.m. and decides, I'll just go and grab a bottle of beer, you know, and sit around and chat to the guys before I go home. It works. It's fine. By the time he gets home, you know, the beer has kicked in. Yeah, he's fine. He falls asleep. It's nice. Now this is what I'll do. I'll do 1 bottle of beer. I'll leave 3 music at 7 p.m., do a bottle of beer, chat with the people, and 10 p.m. or midnight I'm home to sleep. After 2 weeks, a bottle of beer won't cut it. Because it's like, by the time he gets home, the beer, and that's how our system takes things in. After a while, your body becomes dependent. And so it takes more to get the same reaction for something. So after a while, the 1 bottle of beer, by the time he gets home, he's still wide awake. It didn't work. So he has to increase it to 2 bottles. And in a month, he's like on his 2nd bottle. Okay, the 2 bottles, it settles for him. He'll get home, he's a bit woozy, he falls asleep, it's nice. After 2 months, 2 bottles won't cut it. Now he has to increase it to 4. 4 will give him that feeling, and then he gets in, he's there.
And that's the nagging wife is increasing her this thing.
And that's how and that's how really in a year Olele started on 1 bottle of beer, and by the end of the year he's on 15 bottles. If he doesn't do 15 bottles, he won't get the feeling and he can't fall asleep. That's how addiction is.
And it's not solving the problem.
And it's not solving the problem.
Is getting higher.
Because then your wife has just realized that, oh, so this is what you're doing. You're on alcohol now.
There's a new problem.
She's also going to raise the bar for you. And you feel like, then let's do 20. Then, so there's always the underlining. Whereas what you could have done was the nagging wife was to sit her down and say, what is your problem? Why are you always nagging me? I'm trying my best. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. What do you want me to do? Let her express what she wants, okay? And if it's realistic, if something that you can deal with, you deal with it. You tell her, just hold my hand through this. Let's do this together. Let's make it work.
Okay.
I want to. Okay. You said that like a girl. So that's fine.
Oh, please.
Are you a guy? Let the guy tell you something.
Tell me how the guys do it.
A man wouldn't process it that way. A man would. There's no relationship distance.
I know.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
I want to know if. My train of thought. Okay, got it. I want to know if internalizing these unspoken conversations, right, in a society where we are kind of raised and nurtured to internalize, right? You go to a restaurant, you ordered for fried rice, they bring you jollof. You don't want to embarrass the guys who they medi. You know, we internalize and keep all the yawa inside ourselves because that's what makes you a good person, right? So typically, the man is not going to come home and do that. I'm just saying for guys. What do we do with all this internalization? Because the guy, you asked for 300 CD fuel, you did 305. Saying yes, you paid the 5 CD extra. You asked for jollof, they brought you fried rice, and yes, you take the fried. You are just going through disappointments, or how do I say it?
And accepting it.
And accepting it over and over again, and then it manifests into your marriage or your relationship or whatever. So now you're like, okay, she's here, we have the kids, blah, blah, blah. But every Wednesday night she goes off, well, let me internalize it. So what do we do to protect ourselves from internalizing? Because I feel like
even before is that thing affecting us?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just wanted him to land. You need to stop. Stop doing that. It is the beginning of.
He doesn't even know. The point I was going to is that.
Right.
Does he even know that he's in pardon?
Hey Jay, please.
Does he even know that he's internalizing? Because to him, that's
he's
just
being
modus.
a nice person.
He's just being a nice person.
Let me take it in. It's okay.
Exactly. You know what? If I say something now, we're gonna fight. It's already 10. You school, make her go bed. So he's not doing it with the mind of, oh, I'm macho, I don't want to talk about it. He's just doing it of conflict avoidance.
Yeah.
And there's also the fact where as young boys growing up, you're not allowed to speak up. You're not allowed to express how you feel when you are hurt. You know, Bema and Sue, and all that. So you grow up with that. You know, you get to a point where now you have to express or reflect that in relationships like that as well. So how do we reconcile that?
Do you know why more men commit suicide than women? Do you know the statistics?
No, tell me.
It is for the reason you just mentioned. Because men are afraid to express. Because they feel they will look weak. Because a man doesn't want to cry. They don't want to break down in front of everybody.
Which is also a cause of upbringing, right? Because I mentioned it earlier on in the show. I feel like it's upbringing
I think
as
apart
well.
from all that, he doesn't want to cry in front of the boys and all that. It's also who is going to say to give me a solution.
We are raised people.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying that the average guy is his solution and the solution for others in society.
True.
When you have a problem, who do you call? You are the guy to solve the problem. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the average guy is the guy.
Would you recall when I was high on those moments? I didn't cry in front of you. But I went back home to actually have cried in front of you.
Yeah.
And let's say
But you didn't cry in front of her because of the upbringing of Bem.
No, it's exactly what I'm saying.
And part of the reason why he didn't cry in front of her is that if he cried 10 buckets, what would she do?
She's a counselor.
I mean, back then I wasn't.
Time.
But here's what. Here's the thing. The thing is that we don't show emotion because we're afraid we won't get a solution.
Yeah.
Like you rightly said, but there's always a solution. Okay, when you're hurt, let's say you have a sore somewhere underneath this shirt, and you're always covering it.
It's gonna fester.
Apart from festering, nobody knows you have a sore, and you meet the boys, and somebody's like, "Oh, I see, hey," and they're hitting the sore back to back, but you're hiding it, so we don't know, and so we don't even feel sorry for you in any kind of way. Maybe the expression is not feeling sorry for you, but we're not understanding where you stand, and so we can't appreciate it. Okay. However, if you take it off and you are treating it, and it's open for us to see, nobody's going to be slapping you back and forth over there because we know there's something wrong.
Yeah, but you also miss out on the greeting.
They can greet someone. They can hit someone else. They don't necessarily have to hit that side.
Other places.
I agree with you, but I'm just playing devil's advocate because guys, that masculinity comes with a lot of showing up and being present, right? And you are conditioned in such a way that whatever's going on, emotionally or psychologically should not determine or impact your social role. Do you get what I'm saying? So we go watch match. This guy and girl cheat. This guy and wife they nagam. This guy bets in father in land money. We all come and watch the match. We are gone, right? 6-5 guys. Everybody they carry some weight. But go come watch the match. Laugh, do all the boys stuff, talk all the stupid stuff, do all those things like everything is fine. Because with the herd mentality, it's like if I raise my hand and say I am weak, I am no longer part of the collective. Because that's why if you listen to boys' conversations like, Charlie, I tire or the thing, no be easy. Oh, but you this one way you they tire.
You know, they know. Me, my own.
So we turn it into a battle. It's always a competition. The urge to one up each other, even with our suffering. So we say, Charlie, and it stress. So you, but 12 hours, you do what you stress. The day we are doing 24 hours. Instead of saying, you stress, Charlie, what do you?
Here's what. I'm not asking you to expose your wound to your friends or to the people you do boys with. There are so many people who are open to listen to you and help you on the way. People think counseling is advice. Counseling is not advice. Counseling is opening, like I said, cognitive bias. There are things that you won't see by yourself. But when you talk to someone, especially if they are trained in that regard, they will open up things to you that you yourself may not have seen. Yeah. And based on that, you actually see your options bare in front of you to make better decisions, to know what to do moving forward. So really, it's not you opening up to your boys so that when you're meeting for football, it's like, my wife, this guy, his wife cheated and all that, and it downs the, the vibe. No, not at all. There's so many. Listen, therapy can be you writing down your thoughts at the end of every day, or on a day when you're going through something. Journaling, okay. That is therapeutic. Okay, therapy can be music, your kind of playlist, and the way it takes you and relaxes you. It calms you so that your mind.
But whiskey can be my therapy.
If you see whiskey,
I'm asking because we made the alcohol scenario earlier.
It could be, but if you can control it so that it doesn't become an addiction. Because it's always the coping mechanism that becomes an addiction, okay? Music obviously cannot become an addiction. You can't listen to music 24/7. You know what I mean? It doesn't have a destructive. It doesn't have, exactly. So you need to fall on things that you know. Journaling cannot become addictive. How long can you write?
Right now, there's write at home.
Wait, not that you mentioned therapy, right? It's quite unfortunate how we look down on getting therapy, even though we know that we need therapy. When you say to people, sometimes that you are going to get therapy, they just automatically assume that you are going through something that has to do with, madness or mental illness. It's only in maybe the past couple of years, maybe 2-3 years, that therapy has been embraced, right? Would you say that it's becoming more common in Ghana for people to open up to therapy and to say that, I think I've gotten to the point where I need therapy?
Yeah. It has gotten, we have gotten to that age. But here's what, therapy is not just for people who have problems. Therapy is for everybody. Because we have all come from somewhere.
Everybody has problems.
We have all come from somewhere in the way that we were raised, in the things that we believed, in how we grew up, all of that. And you find that as a grown person, you look back on certain things and now you know it's wrong. You didn't know it before, but now you know. And there's so many things that a person has to learn, unlearn and relearn, okay? And some of these things can happen through therapy. You don't need to get to a point where people don't go to marriage counseling because we are about to divorce. So let's talk to someone to help the marriage again. You go to marriage counseling so that you will know, again, all the options will be opened up to you. It will become bare because you're dealing with a flawed individual and he's equally dealing with you. And we're coming from backgrounds where we may love each other, we may be compatible in every sense of the word, but there are certain things that we need to understand in order to be with the person and accommodate them. And some of these things, will be brought to bear when you go through counseling. So counseling or therapy is not just for broken people. It is for everybody. You need to, and for people who have never done it, they don't even understand what it is and the immense benefits you can get from it. If you went to therapy today, tomorrow, all your co-hosts would notice something different about you tomorrow, because you yourself have noticed all the things that is probably not working well or shouldn't be the way it is. So mentally, you when you speak to someone, you've taken all the mental notes. So now you start changing certain things. You will find that even the smallest thing, maybe you'll not even interject anybody when they're talking. You actually allow them to say everything, and you will listen more, and they will notice that something is different about Lenny today. What's that? You know, they may not say it out loud, but they would see something. So therapy is important for everybody.
Let me now bring us into our space.
Right.
And let's be a bit practical
I was going to ask even that which should I say industry areas are more predisposed to the stresses that tangent off to addiction and all this bad behavior and
which one?
Coping. Which areas? Like for example, a lot of doctors smoke, like especially those in the trauma units, emergency surgery was like all the time, right? And then so there's you get a trend, say let's drink, blah 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 blah. So before we get to us creatives and why we are crazy,
are there any particular areas that you know,
like in general,
or
it's like creative,
it's hard to get stats on that?
We've lost it, but it happens everywhere.
I think it happens everywhere, but I think that at the top of my head, I can say with confidence that the creatives will definitely top the list.
We are winning
because
mental work.
So the right hemisphere of the brain is where creativity is. It's also where sadness is. Emotion, all of that is. And you know when you spend...
What a categorization.
Yes. When you spend... it's like... it feels like, men, it's a men day. They have a day for men. International Men's Day is also World Toilet Day. You know that.
My Mother's Day is bigger than Christmas.
Who did that?
Okay, so back to the conversation.
So which one are you celebrating?
So back to the conversation. So here's what we're saying. We're saying that if you spend more time in that right hemisphere of your brain, because you're a creative person, you're also going to create. You find all the creativity there. You also find all the stress, emotions, and the sadness there. Because that's where you're spending a lot of your time. You know what I mean? So it goes without saying.
So it's my fault, I did it.
It goes without saying. Where in other cases, a lot of other professions use both. They balance it out nicely. But the creatives are like, Charlie, 70%, 80% of the time, like I'm here, I live, breathe.
So the emotions of depression, which sad things that would help.
You access them quickly. You access them real quick. Because that's where you sleep. You know what I mean?
No good crowd.
If your neighborhood is on fire, there's a possibility that your house will catch on fire too.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
Because it's in the region.
Yeah.
That's where you play. If there's HIV prevalent in a certain neighborhood and you're a very sexual person and careless, you catch it at some point. So because this is where you play all the time, you get the good and the bad and the ugly.
But give us great artists like
Absolutely.
Absolutely. How do we I mean, it's well said and it's true, but how do we handle these situations that we are likely to? And I mentioned, us pretending to live a certain life that is not really ours. Like, how dangerous is this, or toxic is this space that we are finding ourselves in? Because it's as if we are even going to be more prone to mental health issues as compared to people in other places. Because here we are having to deal with all kinds. You're waking up, you have to tell people, you have to be a certain person on social media. You are dealing with trolls. You are dealing with you stepping up. People are critiquing your fashion sense. You are meeting people day in day out. You have to be smiling constantly and acting as though how dirty and toxic is this? and how easy is it going to be to be a celebrity, if I can say that?
So, first things first, anybody who's decided to put themselves out there has to guard themselves. And by guarding yourself, especially mentally, is knowing that you need routine therapy, okay? I think that all of the, all of the record labels and all these people, I know the international labels usually have like therapists that will, take their artists through this and that. It's routine. You have to do it, In other places, I know even when you're going to be in any kind of service, the police, whatever, you have a psych evaluation. They take you through whatever. They know you're on the right. Your everything is your mind is functioning well. If there's anything that they feel will not let you perform properly, they will hold you back, take you through something before they put you out there. I don't know how it happens here, so I can't speak to that. But I think that when it comes to the creatives, you definitely need to arm yourself, because there are too many things that happen in the creative space. You rightly mentioned people trolling you on social media. People don't know how to handle that. Everybody wants to feel wanted and loved. It's one of humans' basic needs. Like we want love. And so when anybody shows you something that's away from love, it gets to you, regardless who you are. It will get to you. It will ring in your head again and again. It will take a couple of days for you to, let it go. And it comes with a job. Really, you can't do much about it. But it's how you handle it. Like I said in the beginning, as for the things, they'll happen to you. You will lose people. You will lose your job. Your house may even catch on fire. That things will happen to you. It's how you handle it, okay? And in knowing how to handle it, you need to first of all understand that this thing that I do, it goes beyond just me. There is so much involved. And so at every turn, especially when I feel like I'm not doing well, it's not working well, I'm thinking too much about this thing that this person said, or I'm feeling too bad, or I feel like I'm lagging behind in my craft. I feel like I haven't done anything in a minute. When you talk about it, especially when you talk to a professional.
So, if so, let me ask you this. Just a bit of, it might be uncomfortable, but we've seen Funny Face's post, which has gone viral, on him being open about his finances and his relationship with his daughter and all. And what do you make of that reaction? Now he comes out. I mean, he's gone through so much, and he's gone through therapy. On his post this morning on his WhatsApp, I saw that he had put up a video of himself talking on stage at one of his comedy nights. Yeah, talking about mental health, and he's been there. He's been suicidal before, and it's not a path you'd want to encourage anybody to go through. What do you make of being vocal on socials again about his state, finances, and other things he's going through? Do you find that maybe there's something happening to him, or he's fine and just coming from a counselor, psychologist? What do you make of such a post?
Unfortunately, I can't speak to that because I have not had a conversation with him.
Okay.
I would be able to tell if I have spoken to him and I know where he's coming from. And the thing about speaking to people also is that there's no one-size-fits-all situation.
Okay.
Everybody is coming from a place. Their story is different. And it is based on that you know how to handle their situation. Everybody's situation is peculiar.
So generally, when you look at the Ghanaian space, the Ghanaian social media space, plus the Ghanaian celebrity space, not even creative artists, I'm just picking a part of it.
Right.
What do you make of it? When you sit back and you read posts, comments, you look at people's things that people are involved in, what do you make of this? Do you think people are okay? Or do you think it's just a lot of pretense that we are putting out there, just trying to fit into a certain, chase cloud and just survive? But beyond that, because I don't know. I mean, I've seen quite a number of people who have been very vocal about their relationship status and how it's not working. I saw this lady and I really pitied the situation. I don't have details of it. Sister Sandy, or what's her name?
Yeah, Zandi Kamel.
Yeah, Zandi Kamel, yeah. And she had really spoken, and you could tell some bitterness in the experience that she had been through, and when she was speaking on socials. What do you think about how people come out to speak when they are going through these things? Is it the right channel? Is it okay?
I won't say a clear yes or no, but I feel like maybe they don't know what their options are. And when you get frustrated, you would express anyhow you want to express. When you get to a point where, Charlie, you're frustrated. And social media has become a place where people, especially if you haven't had any trouble on social media before, and you have your fans and followers always saying, "Oh, you look really beautiful. We love you, love you." You feel like it's a safe space until you find trouble. Then you know that it's not all of that, So people feel like they can express on social media because they don't know what else to do.
So what else is that they can do? Because it's like any slightest thing, the first go-to place is, let me go on social media.
And it's so sad. I've seen apart from Zandi Kamel, I think last year we had quite a number of married people, Reggie Zippy and his wife, like so many people, and they just, let's bear it all on social media.
Apart from the big blow-ups that made it to social media, one thing that I also realized that, a lot of people do. People in our phone book, you'll check people's status, and in this life, you really have to watch who you talk to. You're like random, okay, this my contact is definitely going through something, but you can't ask, right?
Yeah,
because we also mind your business.
Yes.
But in one breath, you've also put it on your status. So are we supposed to reach out and say, "Oh, bro,
do you know something?"
We do it a lot.
So, John, here's what: all of these people will not accept that they are going through something mentally. First of all, they will not. They just feel like,
is it because of fear of thinking that I'm not.
No,
okay,
I don't think they
I'm
have even.
okay.
I don't think they have even thought about it, because again, people feel like when we talk mental, we're talking
extreme madness.
Extreme. Psychosis and them things. But no. All these things we go through still fall under mental health. And it's a reason why you need to pause and look at your options. That's why I have my foundation, the Natalia Foundation. We are looking to normalize the conversation of mental health and ask people to seek help. We are encouraging people to seek help.
Okay, so I'm sorry to cut you because of time. Before you even continue on that, so let me just narrow it down to a working space, like a media house, like a working space. What are some of the things that, because you just said that it's about realization of the fact that I'm going through something.
Exactly.
What are some of the practical, very common things that are likely to be happening in our spaces? I mean, we work in a media house. It's events. Yeah. We're thinking about what shows to come up next and stuff like that. Happening with our workspace, that should trigger us that, hey, hold on.
There's a lot of stress that people go through in spaces like this. So let me tell you what some of the things are that you should look out for in your colleagues in the space to know that they may be going through something. You find that people will change their routines. Maybe somebody who will typically come to work early suddenly will stop, will be coming to work late, and won't give any better excuse. Or
what
you
about sleeping on breaks?
And you can tell
every 5 minutes again.
Because I slept small.
Why? Did you mention a name?
No,
did you mention
I'm the one who sleeps during break.
Nobody mentioned it.
You see, they don't want me to express myself. You see, I'm going to go and write on my status.
There's a thing also about sleep patterns.
I'm going to go and write on my
sleep
status.
Patterns, when interrupted, especially when interrupted greatly, also affects your mental health, because then you'll find that some people can't sleep at all at night. They can't. They try, but they can't, If that is the norm for you, so maybe since you became an adult, maybe when you were a child, your mother will force you, so yeah. But let's say after secondary school, when you entered uni and you had your own will to do whatever, you don't sleep much at night, then that's your norm. Everybody has their norm. If that's your norm, then that works. But if you find that that's not normal and suddenly that's the problem with you, so now you can't sleep much at night, you catch only an hour or two sleep, and then during the day, you're struggling, you're struggling because you can't function properly. And it is the proper function for me. If anything interrupts your proper function,
the regular flow, it's
definitely affecting your mental health, or it's definitely a mental health.
So what do we do when we identify that, maybe like people within the space we're working in are not flowing the way they used to? What is the first approach? Do you go to them to talk? Because maybe somebody might not take it lightly.
So maybe you don't go to them to talk,
because they haven't realized that what they are doing is not regular.
Maybe you don't go to talk to them because you may not be their favorite person, or they may look at you in a certain light, or they may not take it well. But you can find in the space who they relate to very well, and have them have a conversation like, is everything okay? Like, people that they are likely to open up to, is everything okay? But even that is not opening up as in, let that be the source of their solution. But once we identify that there's a problem, we can we can speak to them to let them understand that, if it's something that goes a little before you, beyond what you can handle, you can always go to therapy. You can always talk. Do you want to talk to a professional? Do you want, let's look at solutions that will best help, this situation, so that you can function properly. If you're not functioning properly, if anything stops you from functioning properly, that's not good. That is definitely a direct connect to your mental health, and that's not good at all.
Earlier on, you listed some types of. Was it a therapy, or it was? You mentioned some types of.
I wanted to ask about that. You said grief counseling.
Grief counseling.
Okay, yeah. Are there certain types that
there are certain. So transition is a big thing. Even moving from one place to another is a big thing. People don't think so, but it is. If you have lived your whole life maybe in a certain home with your family, your friends, your grandmother, everybody, and you have to move to a different place, it takes a toll on your mental, your psyche. It takes a toll on you mentally. It does. It goes without saying. It will take a toll on you. Any kind of change takes a toll on you. But you see, it's the level that it takes, how much of it or how much of a toll it takes on you. That will let you know whether you need a little extra help or you can handle it on your own. When you lose somebody you love, it takes a toll on you mentally. So you need help with that. So there's grief counseling. There's so many, even when children are moving from home to secondary school.
Counseling.
So many different
Why
times.
do you look at me when I just propose a certain way of counseling that way?
So many different times.
Yes,
you just need to identify
the one that works.
Yes.
But every individual is unique.
Yeah.
And you need to actually listen to where somebody's coming from in order to know what they need.
And understand.
Yeah. So there's I can't sit here and say that, I can bring something that works for everybody. No. It doesn't work that way. When it comes to dealing with mental health issues, it's individualized. So after I speak with C, I know that, okay, this is where he's coming from. He may need cognitive behavioral therapy. He may need this, he may need that, all of that. Then we know. But everybody is unique in their own way.
Okay.
But are there, common types of counseling in our space, in the creative space, and also largely in Ghana?
Typically when people hear counseling, the first thing that comes to mind is marriage counseling. Mm-hmm. That is why for us who deal with, human behavior, we call ourselves counseling psychologists. So that we tear apart from the regular counselors, because people think, it's marriage counseling if you're he's leaving. If you have relationship, counseling and
see what you're saying?
He's tired.
I do marriage counseling. I was just zoning out. I'm done with you, don't worry.
So all these ones are different. But when it comes to the creative space, I think that again, I would say that every individual is different. So I can't say that, this type of therapy is, you have to talk to the individual to know.
It's a case-by-case basis.
Exactly, to know what will work for them.
Well, okay. Earlier. Our time is almost up.
Is there anything like too much therapy?
Oh, no. Okay, well, there could be.
Exactly.
There could be. So sometimes, maybe after a while, because sometimes people get comfortable. I know I've had to turn, when I started doing serious counseling, I've had to turn after 6 sessions. I know some people, their problem is solved, but they still want to just come and sit down and enjoy your company or talk for nothing. So I've had to turn them away or hand them over to another person.
To break the cycle.
Exactly. So usually,
I'm sorry. At that point in time, are you not thinking about profit?
Oh no. You're not thinking about profits because you see what we do is like 50%, maybe 50% profit, but 50% for God and humanity, really. So you want the person to feel better.
Right.
Because I believe that when we have a society that functions properly, everybody benefits.
Yeah.
Because who knows? My son may marry C's daughter in the end. And that you were saying that and that's how we think. We think that everything is so far away from you. It's not my problem, it's not my problem. But that person's child will come and marry your child. And then it will become your problem. You know what I mean? So if the society functions properly, if everything understands the way they need to function and do it to the best of their ability, then hooray.
Okay.
It becomes a better society for everyone.
Our time is up on you, but let me just ask this last question.
Okay.
Guys, so looking at all the things happening in Ghana, water problems, road problems, transport problems,
economy,
all the things happening, which is disruptive to a regular flow of a human life. Are we okay?
Oh no, we're not okay. We're not okay. But we want to see beyond that. A lot of people are anxious.
We've adapted. Our brains have been so, I don't want to use the word destroyed, but our brains have been so watered down to accept what is not okay as okay.
Yes.
Then we are not okay.
Yes, that's what it is.
So
there's a term for it. It's not coming to me, but it's like learned helplessness. It's like when you put a dog in a cage and seal it, and he knows he can't get out, and you back and fight, but he knows he can't get out.
Get to a point he'll stop.
It gets to a point he stops. You open the cage and he'll still not get out.
So are you seeing that?
Because he's gotten familiar with I can't get out. Yeah. So even when the door eventually opens,
is the reason why we have to take. This is the reason why we need to take this mental health conversation big. Because if we can accept as human beings that a pothole is okay.
Yeah, we get familiar.
And a street light
we get familiar.
Okay.
Because you will fight.
And
you will fight and realize that.
Do you know why we have accepted it? Because we are not confrontational. Because all the things that are wrong in our society.
What do they do about it?
No, what I'm saying, all the things in our society will need a certain point of confrontational engagement and discomfort for us to get the conversation started. We need to find solutions.
I'm saying that because
just like Olele said,
when you travel,
when they bring your jollof instead of fried rice, right? The solution is you weren't paying attention when I was giving you order. You were on the phone. Where's your manager? I don't want this. If you don't fix this, I'm not coming back here. But that's confrontational. That's awkward. Everybody else eating their
aside from the fear of us not being confrontational, the other side of that, because what's scaring me now is that if we have reached a point where we are okay with all
dysfunction,
then that is serious for all of us.
We've normalized dysfunction.
Yeah, because if I will travel out of the country to maybe another country and I will not do not urinate here, for it to tell me that urinating there, I'll not even urinate there in the first place. But if I come back home and I'm thinking that, wait, you know what, I'm just driving by the roadside, you just here now.
My worry is...
Yeah, you were going to say something.
Yeah, my worry is, so even if we see something better, can we recognize it?
No, we won't. It's psychological. And that's how I explained it. Because once you fight and you realize that I'm stuck, there's no going forward for me, you accept it mentally.
I'm saying this because we're in an election year, right? And everybody's going to come up with their manifestos and what they're going to do to make the country better. But with the conversation we just had, right, and the future of this country, which is the youth, having been exposed to this dysfunction, I don't know if we're going to have time to break this down.
I don't even think you need to go to elections.
How? I mean...
I'll keep using this as example. The Netherlands embassy.
Yeah.
It's always clean. The leaves clean. There's no litter. There's no trash. There's no sachet water.
Yeah.
Nothing. The opposite side of that interchange is trash.
So how do we unlearn, relearn, and learn functional... what you call
all of it.
Format your hard drive.
Yeah, all of it. Yes, you need. We always. You see, that is why you need therapy. Therapy resets your mind, lets you understand what you have refused to see by yourself because you have a cognitive bias, because you feel like in your mind you see things so differently from what is real. But if you're talking to somebody, or even if you're journaling, here's what you'll find. After 2 months, when you go back to the first day you started, you will realize things that really at the time, even though you were writing it, it wasn't present on your mind. Okay, but when you go back to read it, you will actually see it. Oh, wow. So this is how I was feeling at the time. This is what it is that I said specifically, okay, which you may have forgotten even 2 months later, or it's not clear to you. So we always need a way to refresh our minds and reset. You can't, I don't know anybody in 2024 who wants to think and act and feel the same way they thought and acted and felt in 2000.
Okay.
How do you want to function
it won't work out,
with the mind that you had in the year 2000 in the year 2024?
Natalia,
you know what I mean?
So we said last question, but this is the last one. I promise.
Okay.
I even have a final question.
The music space, okay?
Right.
Now, countless times we have spoken about our artists not going, global and going global and all. Is that in any way that the speech that comes, we've created this Ghana Nigeria thing?
Right.
Is that in any way? Do you think it's playing on these artists' minds?
Oh, it will play on their minds. It will. Do you know something? Do you know that whoever raised you, your guardian, whether it was your parents, whatever, there are certain things that they said to you a lot of the time when you were growing up or when they were raising you.
I've got one.
And anytime, even now as a grown man or woman, when you're about to do something that you know this person will not approve to, you hear them in your head.
Well, I'll tell you one crazy thing.
You hear it. You know what I mean?
If
you're about to do.
House.
When I was going to get a tattoo, I had my mother in my head, and I had the exact words she said in my head.
I said, if you cook for me
in
your house, I may be able to eat. But if you put the same food in your house and put it in takeaway pack and give it to me, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why later on.
I was going to add, this is the WHO in 2022 reported
we have to speed up.
Ghana had 18 psychiatrists, 1,200 psychiatric nurses, and 9 mental health facilities out of a population of 32 million. That's not enough, isn't it?
No, it's not. So
how do we meet?
But these days, there has been an update to that, because now there are so many, apart from the government organizations, there are so many private, organizations that have set up.
Do you think we've made it attractive enough for people?
No, we have not.
So there's more work to be done.
There's so much more work to do. That is why it will take you and I and everybody to hop on the conversation of mental health. This should not be the only time you do it. You should do it a lot of the time. Talk to other people. Get a clinical psychologist here. I'm a counseling psychologist. Get a clinical psychologist. Let them explain, the medical aspects of it. For people who are on medication, because there are people who are on medication, if they miss a day, they behave a little funny. That's why early on when you mentioned Abna Koko, she's talked about, in fact, you should bring her on to have her talk about, taking medication, because it has a lot of side effects and it plays on you in a certain way. You can numb your mind. You can numb your mind in a way that you can sit for 24 hours and nothing will cross your mind. Yes. And there are medications that do that to you. It just numbs your mind. You're like a zombie. You're just there.
For other duties.
Exactly. And it's because in that moment, if your mind is not numbed, you can't handle whatever it is that's happening on your mind. So bring on a clinical psychologist. In the next month, bring on somebody who's gone through it. Like, let's normalize the conversation of mental health.
And I'm glad that
really
you've been pushing
important
for this conversation. I am Obudai and Abdul Wahab, all on social media, on X, enjoying the conversation this morning. Thank you very much, guys. Unfortunately, our time is up. We have to go.
I want to say happy birthday to Nache of Ache the Saloon. And Mufida Mekta.
I didn't hear you.
She's called Nache.
You say you want to do what for who?
Happy birthday.
Yes.
To Nache of Ache the Saloon.
Of Ache the Saloon.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Mufida Mekta, who's a beauty content creator. Happy birthday, ladies.
All right, so now Ache of
Ache
the Saloon, happy birthday going out to you, and to
Mufida Mekta.
Mufida, happy birthday going out to you. Ache and Mufida, have an amazing day. Our time is up, Natalia. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
On this, how I'm going through some mental health issue. You are.
We can't tell.
Yeah, clearly.
Really can't tell.
No, we are out of here. We're back here tomorrow morning. Right, it's a good start to a great day, and enjoy the rest of the day. And we are.